Okay. Hey, everybody. How's it going? I think we got a few people in here actually, which is pretty cool. It's been a while since I've done a stream. It's been like over 2 months, which has been way too long. I just got caught up in like a million things. Anyway, so I hope everything is clear. I hope audio is good. I hope video is nice and smooth. YouTube is like showing all green to me, so I think we're good. Anyway, I had some images I wanted to get through today, and I was going to do them on my own, but I thought, why not share the process with you guys? It's been far too long. And it's always fun to hang out, chat space, chat satellite imagery. Yeah, this is the image we're looking at doing today, which is a KH-7 GAMBIT image from 1966 of Baikonur. I know it's like it's almost always Baikonur in here. I'm sorry, I've got a large backlog to work through, and I mean it's one of the most amazing like historic space sites, right? Um, and I've like in my spare time I worked through all the images of like pretty much all the other launch sites. But as you can imagine, Baikonur was like the top target for these spy satellites back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? Um, so there are so many images to work through, but if we get through this one today, maybe if we have time, maybe we'll do another location somewhere interesting. Maybe we can take requests or something. But yeah, I hope everything's coming through clearly, and if everything's good, I think we will just dig in. We'll get started. For anyone not familiar with what I do here, basically what we're doing is we're taking this scan of this old declassified spy satellite image, and we're going to make it into an interactive image, basically. So anyone can freely view the image in high resolution without having to download like a 10 gigabyte file or whatever it is. Because as cool as it is to go and download those files, not everyone wants to do that, especially like if you're on your phone or something, or you have a slow internet connection like myself. It can be quite tedious to do that. So yeah, the goal here is just to make the images as interactive and accessible as possible. And you know what? Why don't I pull up an example of that? That would probably be a good idea. Just to quickly show you what we are doing, because we actually have quite a few people here, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Let's have a look. This one should be pretty cool. Okay, bear with me. This should open up on here. Boom, look at that. And I think you can see that. Yes, you can. So this is an image I did the other day of like the southern Los Angeles area, Long Beach, whatever you want to call it. I just said southern Los Angeles because I couldn't be bothered being too specific, so I just thought I'd be general with it. And this was like a large, something like an 8 gigabyte file or something, but anyone could just come on the web and, I mean, excuse my slow internet connection here, but you can come in and view whatever you want to see, like all these ships in the port here, just almost as if it was Google Maps or something. Still easier than catching film buckets by plane. You know, Scott, that still blows my mind. I was watching a documentary about it the other night, and some of the crew from the planes that did those recovery missions were talking about it, and it's absolutely incredible. They're talking about how they had these little like transponders on the film buckets sending out these little pings to the aircraft, and there was a few times where they lost the pings and they had to just go off of pure visual sight, and everything like that to catch it. And it's quite amazing what they had to do. See that? That would be an awesome mission in Flight Sim. Take you back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, whenever it is, and yeah, that would be a fun mission. Maybe someone can make a mod. If that's not like something the actual game wants to implement, someone could make a mod to do that. I would be on board with that, and that would probably get me to pay for that game. Because to be honest, right now, I'm like, I don't know if I should be spending that money on the game, but I think if that was in there, I would probably do it. Okay, so I think we're just gonna dig into the process here. Cool, we have the screens that we want. So for anyone who's not familiar with this software, this is called QGIS or QGIS, depending on who you ask. And it's like I believe it's open source software. I don't know the details of software. there's anything you should know about me, I'm not like super technical when it comes to software and things like that. It's just a tool to get the job done. And basically, what we're going to do is we have the declassified image here on the right, and we're going to set some little ground control points on both images. So on the image on the right and the image on the left. And that's going to tell the declassified image where it belongs to sit, where it's meant to sit on the map, I guess. And so the best way I found to do this, after doing it probably like 300 times, it's a very time consuming process. So we might be here for like an hour or so. But you just got to find very obvious things. Like this intersection here is one that I always use. You can kind of see right here, there's like a rail crossing, I guess. And you just kind of plot a point on each one of these little areas. And I do a few obvious ones to start with, and then I'll usually like go around the edges of the image to get it in the right position, and then like a few more points in the middle. So it's a bit of a tedious process, if I'm going to be honest with you, but maybe I'm just a little bit crazy, but I enjoy it. I think it's fun. It can be kind of relaxing to switch the brain off. You know, sometimes I'll listen to like a podcast or an audiobook or something like that. And there's other times where I just come in here and chat with you guys. We can chat with anything, about anything, whether it's satellites, space, pretty much anything. Yeah, if anyone has any questions as well, please feel free to ask. Again, I'm a little rusty. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. We'll go down to the city here. So I hope everything is good. And I'll be honest, I kind of rushed together this stream. I didn't plan to do this when I woke up like 2 hours ago, but here we are. By the way, anyone who's not familiar, yes, I am from Australia. If you notice a weird accent. So right now it is 9:39 in the morning. And I am not a morning person, so to be honest with you, I don't know why I'm doing it. This is Kazakhstan. At the time, it would have been the Soviet Union. So yeah, it was kind of Russia at the time, but technically, I guess not. Although there are some places that I do have on my list that are in Russia, and those are always fascinating. You're from Russia yourself. That's awesome. Yeah, I love digging into Soviet stuff. I find it quite interesting. I was doing some images recently of another place in Kazakhstan, and there's like Soviet air bases and like where they did a lot of their weapons testing for missiles and stuff back in the day. And it's just fascinating to go through all those sites, but it's also quite sad because those sites have all been like demolished now, or they've just fallen apart. Speaking of that, it looks like these buildings have disappeared. We will come back to that. We'll start with the easiest places, and then we will get to the tricky parts. Where are we? So that is that. Cool. Like this building, you can see the roof has fallen in on this building. Oh, interesting. I assume that one launched from Baikonur, Scott. I'm not familiar with the launch itself, so I would have to look it up. Um, but it's depending on when it happened, it's possible you might be able to find some debris on these old images. One of the cool things that I have noticed is while like spending all this time working on these images, you kind of pick up little differences between the images. And sometimes you can see like craters from rocket crashes popping up, specifically specifically from the N1. Like up here, here we go. This is from one of the N1 flights, and I don't remember which one, like either the first or second one. And I believe this is where the first stage impacted, or maybe it was the whole rocket. But there's like debris all around here, and you can go back in time and see the Yeah, when the craters appear, there's some more craters. Oh, geez, I don't remember. Like some up here and stuff. So at some point, when I have time, I would love to go through and map these craters and see when they appear over time. And you could probably try to like find the connection to certain launches and whatnot, if that makes sense. But that seems like a rather large project, and I don't know if I have time for that at the moment. Um, Scattered over Russia, but that might be USSR. Okay, okay, that makes sense. Um, Interesting. That's a rather large area to to search, but I'm sure if like more information came out about that, we could probably track down something. Um, all right, where are we at? Another thing is I'm not used to talking so much while doing this, so if I get distracted, I'm so sorry. So that is that. A lot of this is very much just looking at the different like the patterns in on the ground, I guess. Like you can see this is the same shape here. And then I will try to find like bushes and shrubs and whatnot on the ground. And most of the time those are pretty I don't know, like pretty accurate control points. Like this dark area here is very interesting. And I feel like that can work because I don't know what that is. Is that a tower with, it looks like a tower, maybe like power lines or something. Actually, yeah, you can see that on this image on the right, you can see there's this line of power lines or something going along here. That's pretty cool. So those are always good control points. Yeah, as well as like things like bushes and shrubs, whatnot. Cool, cool. Um, yeah, this whole world of declassified stuff is fascinating. Um, there are there are all these images on the USGS website, which, by the way, this is where I get the images from on the USGS Earth Explorer, and I can't remember the total number of images, but there's something like over a million, maybe like 2 million images in total, and only a few thousand of those are scanned. So it's a rather large task that the National Archives have on their hands, but I wish I could go over there and help them. Maybe one day I can work something together. Although maybe being a foreign person, maybe I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not sure what the rules are with all that kind of stuff. But lunar trajectory. Okay. Yeah, if you find out any more information, please feel free to let me know. And if there's anything I can do to help, I will try my best. No promises, but um, yeah, I've done some scavenger hunts for some pretty weird and odd things using imagery like this before, and it is quite surprising what you can dig up. Um, yeah. CJ, this is not Google Earth. This is a tool called QGIS, QGIS, and it's meant for like mapping and yeah, pretty much anything related to mapping and what's the word I'm looking for here? Like geospatial kind of stuff. Um, and one of the uses it has is georeferencing satellite imagery or any imagery or maps. And georeferencing is basically the process of telling an image where it belongs on a map, which is what I'm doing here. And it's very tedious, but it's fun if you're a little bit insane like I am. um, oh, RTG payloads. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I hope they recovered that RTG, or did they just leave it out there? I kind of dread to think about that, to be honest. Maybe it's not as big as a deal as I think it is. I don't know too much about the specifics of RTGs, but um, I know it's something that people worry about, and I'm not sure if that's like people worrying too much, but either way, it is interesting. Um, all right, I'm trying to find this. This guy is here. We go. So once again, this is all like pattern recognition. And I know there are people who are training like AI or machine learning to do this process, but at the moment, my brain is the pattern recognition machine, and I don't know if that's the best thing, but it seems to do a decent job. Does it support skin tillation? Skin? Oh, I cannot pronounce that. Wow, my brain is not awake enough. To be honest with you, CJ, I have no clue what that is. Maybe I should know what that is, um, because that's yeah. If you want to explain it, that would be great. If not, I can like research it myself later. Maybe it's something that's just escaping my mind. Scintillation. Thank you, Scott. Oh man. Again, it's far too early here. Luckily, I had some food. That's a mistake I made on a stream in the past. I did not eat before going on stream, and it was a disaster. I just never doing that again. Um, Once again, yeah, I still don't know what that is, but I'm very curious. I just want to try to get. You can actually see someone's fingerprints on the scan of the film here. Um, oh, okay, okay, like change detection. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. There probably is a way to do that. I've seen people do it, um, but I have never played around with it myself. Um, so to be honest with you, I'm not much help here, but I can look into that at some point. At the moment, like 99% of my use case in the software is just georeferencing these old images. Um, Seems like you guys know what you're talking about more than I do. So. But that's one of the things that I enjoy about doing these streams is I often learn from people in the chat, which is awesome. But yeah, you can see someone's fingerprints on the scan here. I think you can see my cursor. Let me just, I don't know, maybe you can. Hold on. Let me, this is a bigger cursor. I have all these different cursors that I use. I think like that one might be more visible, but I cannot tell if you can see my cursor or not. But anyway, yeah, there's someone's fingerprint on this film, which is pretty funny. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Original tech is astronomy. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm not too much of an astronomy guy. Well, what I mean by that, just to be clear, is I like astronomy, but I I don't have any like experience with it. I know there are some astronomy fans in the chat, and I don't want to make anyone angry by making them think that I'm not a fan. So I thought I would. Okay, so I don't think you can see that menu that I'm popping up, but basically what I'm doing is now that we have a few of these points in the right or close enough place, we can tell the software that, how do I explain this to you? We can tell the software that when I move this image on the right, it knows, I don't know how to explain this to you guys. Like this is one of the things where, okay, maybe this just makes sense. So I zoom in on the image on the right, and because I have a few of these points put down, it knows where to zoom the image on the left in. Because before I had to zoom both images separately, right, to go to the right location. But now I can zoom in, and it's pretty accurate, kind of. But the more of these control points I place, like, whoopsie, let me select the right tool, like this and this, it will become more accurate as I zoom in. And that just saves me time when going around to different locations. And so if I want to find like this funny looking sand flat thing, I'm not sure exactly what this is. Is this like a salt flat? But you can zoom in here and be like, okay, here's this pattern of these shrubs or whatever they are. And I can just drop points in the middle of those. And yeah, so we have like a very, I don't know, like a early product of the georeferenced image, technically, because it knows where everything belongs. And I feel like I'm doing a terrible job at explaining this, but I hope that makes sense, at least a little bit. Um, so now when I was struggling to find this point before up in this corner, I can see that this is this. And we can drop that point into here and come into there. And that's roughly accurate. And we can fine tune all of these later. Yeah, I I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Um, this is pattern recognition hell right here because I do not see any of this. I don't even see this. I see the road. Okay. And that should be that intersection. Yes. And that comes into there. So I'm going to say that that is the same place. And once again, if that is not entirely accurate, which I think it is pretty close, we can come back and change this later, but this is basically just to get us started. And we'll see if there's anything down in this corner down here. Okay, I see that. I see that. We'll come into here. And where exactly are we? I'm going to put one right there and there. So now we kind of have our corners covered, which is usually the most important part. Once you have your corners like in the right place, then the image knows roughly where it is. And from here on out, it's basically just fine tuning because these images were taken at, let's see, what kind of angle was this taken at? That's actually not a super high angle because sometimes with these KH-7 satellites, they would be taken at, the images would be taken at like 45-degree angle, if not more. And so it'd make the process of georeferencing quite tedious just because of the angle, and you'd have like these weird projections, I guess. There's probably a more technically correct term for that, but it's escaping my mind. But yeah, I was doing one of Paris probably like 3 or 4 months ago, and it was absolute hell to do, not just because of the terrain that Paris has, especially as you go more outside of the city and like into the country, I guess. There's like lots of hills and valleys and whatnot, which is, don't get me started on working with crazy terrain on these images. That's what hurts my brain. So georeferencing an image of a flat area like Baikonur is so much easier than doing it of a like a mountainous region. Like I won't go into specifics because I don't want to reveal any of my plans at the moment because I have some cool stuff up my sleeve. I just don't know exactly how to execute it right now. But that is not a good point to choose, Harry. But there are some images I really want to work on, but there are very like mountainous areas, and it takes a lot of work to do that. Actually, one I can talk about is I georeferenced some images of the Falkland Islands that were taken during the Falklands War back in 1982. And those islands have some pretty decent mountains and wacky terrain on them. And it probably took me maybe like 8 to 10 hours just to georeference those images. And usually I probably spend like 2 to 3 hours on an image. It was something like 1,000 control points on the ground. And it was not fun, to be honest. It was worth it in the end because those are very historically important images. But man, that was a process. But it was very cool to get done. And yeah, the finished product was very satisfying to see. And yeah, but for now, I feel like I need a break and I just want to do more basic image processing. Baikonur is a place I'm very familiar with at this point after doing this like hundreds of times. I'm not seeing anything line up here. This place has changed a lot. Actually, that's pretty accurate. I'm going to trust my gut on that one. Cool, 17. So usually for Baikonur, I like to do somewhere around like 50 points, reference points, something like that. Although this image is quite a bit larger than the other Gambit images I have. Um, oh, we have some info rolling in. Here we go. Right. Scott, on your comment, this is just the imaging software. The only tricky part is when these images are taken at like an angle, like an off nadir angle, it can be hard to project the images on a flat surface. If that makes sense, on a flat image, especially when the mountains are kind of like, yeah, what's the word for that? When it looks like the my brain is failing me at this point. Um, 52 seconds wouldn't. I don't think so. I'm not probably not the right person to talk about launch trajectories, to be honest. But I'm interested to see what you guys can dig up. Let's see. Screw perspective. Yes, thank you. That's the correct word I was looking for. The Casper, thank you. That's a really nice comment. I feel like I've been stumbling my way through this today. It's probably just because I haven't done something like this in a while. So I appreciate your kind comment. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to try and explain as best as I can. Like, yeah, if you're interested, please feel free to ask. This is a place where I feel like everyone can learn something, including myself. I like to try and learn something from anyone who's watching or chatting, because there is always more to learn in this world, and even if it's something small. So I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, and thanks to Scott for retweeting my tweet. By the way, that was very kind. I appreciate that. All right, I'm kind of just churning through this on autopilot right now, so I hope this isn't too. I hope I don't get like lost and just kind of switch off my talking. I don't want to bore anyone. Getting lost here. So that is that, which would mean that guy goes in there, I think. All right, that's pretty cool. And what I will do is probably a few more in the city because, oh wait, why did I press that? What am I doing? Yeah, the city is where we're going to notice the most issues if something is off. So I will put some energy into here, like down by the airport, which I did not mean to click that. I'm not seeing any planes down here either. That's interesting. Oh, that's the smaller airport. And apparently that's been essentially demolished. Great. That does not help my case. Okay, we'll have to do something else. What do we got? All of this is just gone. Man, that makes me so sad. Look at that. It's all gone. Apart from that building wasn't even there at the time. Age difference between images, 1966 versus 2024. So, math. What is that? 58 years? Is that correct? No. I'm not a math guy. Someone help me out. Someone help me out, please. My brain is not prepared for this today. Now I've got to do that. It can't be more than that, right? 58. Okay, thank you. I was like, it can't be 68. That's too much. Okay, cool. Yeah, this image was August. Let me actually just pull that up. This image was taken on August 20, 1966. And I believe the Google imagery of Baikonur has been updated this year. So it's, yeah, about 58 years of difference, which is crazy. I do have some older images. I think the earliest image I have of Baikonur is like 62. It's on my website somewhere. I would have to find it. But yeah, it's crazy to see the difference. I hope one day all of the U2 images will get declassified, because that would be awesome to see those early days. Um, Actually, I'm not entirely sure if the U2 flew over before the first spy satellites did. That's an interesting point. I don't remember all the U2, like when the U2 was flying. I don't remember that off the top of my head. But I know there are images out there of the launch pads and stuff. I just don't remember when it first started flying. I think it was before. I'm pretty sure. I love seeing this conversation in chat. It makes me happy. Talking about rockets. That's nice. So one of the big things I've wanted to do for a long time is try to find more images of rockets on their launch pads at Baikonur. Um, there, like we have something like 15 images of N1s on the launch pad, between 68 and 72. Um, and then there is another image of another rocket. I don't remember what rocket it was, but it's a much smaller one. Heck, it might have even been like an actual missile. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I wanted to see like a Proton or a Soyuz or something, but I haven't had any luck yet. So we'll have to keep digging through the archives, and yeah, I want to see like a Proton or a Soyuz standing on the pad. Again, that is being demolished. That's awful. Okay. Actually, speaking of things being like demolished, Google updated this imagery of Baikonur probably 2 or 3 months ago, and I went through and looked at all the changes that had been made, in between. I think the previous imagery was like 2021, and yeah, so seeing the changes between 2021 and 2023 or 2024, and so many buildings have been demolished in those years, and it makes me quite sad because of the history that would have been in those buildings. I don't know whether there would be anything interesting, but I don't know. It makes me sad to see things being demolished, especially when there's no. Well, they would probably tell us there's a good reason for them being demolished, but like it's not like those buildings are being replaced with something new, you know. Like if someone demolishes an old launch pad and they're like, okay, and then we're gonna use it for a new rocket or something, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But if you're just demolishing it for the sake of demolishing it, it just makes me sad. Um, huh. The question that's the big question. I can guarantee you there are images of Energia on the pad. The only thing is those are not declassified yet, because that was what 87, I think. That was like the later 80s, right? Because the latest images that have been declassified were 1984 and 1985. Whenever the last Hexagon mission flew. Well, I guess second last because the last one blew up on launch. Um, that's sad. That still makes me sad to this day. We could have had one more Hexagon mission if it wasn't for that Titan exploding at Vandenberg. But yeah, that would probably be from a KH-11, and almost all of those images are still classified. So maybe in like 20 or 30 years, those images will get declassified and we'll be able to see those pictures. Might be longer than that. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I mean, heck, there are images from the KH-8 satellites, which is like the upgraded version of the satellite that took this image we're looking at now. And that started flying in, I want to say like 68 off the top of my head. And it had incredibly high resolution, something like 10 centimeters or something like that. And even though the last mission flew in like 84 or 85, something like that, those images are still classified. Sorry. And it just makes me sad because I really want to see those images. There are some declassified CIA reports where they talk about all these things they had seen in the images taken by the KH-8, like parts of the N1s rolling along the train tracks and going out of buildings and things like that. Um, yeah, and I would love to see those images, but I guess there's probably not much we can do for now. I'm sure there are some people working on trying to get those images declassified. But yeah, that's not really my department. Actually, as an international or like a non-American person, non-American citizen, I don't know if I can even request that kind of stuff. I haven't looked into it, but maybe if I can, I might look into it one day. But I assume you'd probably have to write them like a long letter or something explaining things. Maybe that's a community project we could put together and see if we can get something done, because that would hold a lot of historical significance. And yeah, that would be some fun live streams, to tell you that. That would be absolutely awesome. You know what? I'm thinking we just hit the button and we just go for it. I'm just going to configure some settings, which you can't see here, but I'm just selecting a transformation type. You know what? No, we're going to play it safe. We're going to play it safe. Okay. I was going to compress it, but that would take a while, and I don't want to be sat here for 20 minutes. Okay, we have a progress bar. You can see it on the left screen at the bottom down here. Well, thanks for hanging out, everyone. This is absolutely awesome. I was thinking like, oh, this is the first stream I've done in like 2.5 months, and no one's gonna show up. So it's awesome to have some people to chat with and yeah, talk about some cool things. Um, Scott, I saw one of your videos that you posted on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and it was when you had the camera on the, I assume, on the belly of the plane, and I was thinking I could probably turn that into a georeferenced image, and we could use that as a map, like a map, yeah, updated aerial imagery. So if you ever want to share anything like that with me and you want me to work on something, I'd be happy to give it a try. I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Um, Heck, we could even make a stream out of it. Yeah, I feel like that would be really, really fun. So please feel free to reach out if that's something you would like me to do. Um, yeah, absolutely. Find the right subject. Maybe you can go for a flight over Baikonur for me. I'm kidding, of course, but um, yeah, I'm absolutely open to doing that. That would be awesome. That would be really, really cool. That would be great for even doing things like if you're flying along, even just like the coastline. Um, I'm sure some people would be interested in that for looking at like coastal change or like erosion purposes and whatnot. Coastal monitoring. There are people out there who do amazing things with imagery that I do not understand. Um, and yeah, it would be really cool to do that. So if there's something you're interested in, absolutely, I'm definitely open to that. Um, Especially these days, it's getting harder and harder to access a lot of imagery, and I get it because these are commercial companies; they want to make money. But man, I cannot afford to pay like $300 for 10 square kilometers of imagery. Like, I mean, even at the moment, I want to get a nice high resolution image of the Starship stack on the launch pad at Boca Chica, but I don't want to pay 150 US dollars for a satellite image. And so it's, yeah, I could go for a whole rant on this. Maybe I should make a video on this, just me ranting about the prices and accessibility of satellite imagery. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Hey Andrew, it's good to see you here, and I'm glad you could make it. Um, you know what? That's a really good point. I might shoot RGB a message and see if that's something they're interested in doing. Yeah, they could do like we could do a whole map of that. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Now you got my brain working. That would be really cool. Where are we at? 28%. Okay, this is a rather large file. How big is this? Okay, this is a 4 GB image. When it's done processing, it might be closer to like 7, something like that. So we might be here a little bit, but that's okay. Is there anything we can talk about in the meantime? You know what? I'm gonna plug my website because why not? Because why not? So this is the declassified page on my. That is a very bright screen. Let's get rid of that. It's gonna burn out my retinas. All right. This is the declassified gallery on my website, and I'm gonna throw that into chat just in case anyone wants to check it out. My website is not perfect. It's held together by tape and cardboard, but these are all images that I have georeferenced in the past. And basically, you can check all of these out for free. We have. Okay, I thought it wasn't going to load then. We have these interactive embeds thanks to my friends at SAW. And you can just go in and be like, oh, look, there's all these planes in this airbase in Kazakhstan from 1966 again. And you'd be like, wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, all for free, and you can go and check it out and see how the images compare to today, which is pretty cool. And yeah, you can go through and click on the links and go to the original source image on the USGS website, which is pretty cool. You can see all the information, all the metadata and things like that. So yeah, I think there's about 275 declassified images on there, and I'm trying to what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to increase that daily. I'm trying to add like 1 image a day, which is not easy because these can be a lot of work, but I want to get that number up really, really high. And you can also like request locations using this Google form, which is pretty cool. We also have things like these updated images. So you have like Umbra synthetic aperture radar images, as well as like optical satellite images. This is a great one from Airbus showing the Polaris Dawn. Wait, yes. That is what it's called, right? Yes, Polaris Dawn. Okay. I was getting very confused for a second. Showing the Falcon 9 on the pad with Dragon and the Starship launch tower that is just sitting there doing nothing. But yeah, pretty much just all the cool images I have. Actually, what was it? One of my favorite ones is this image of the Angara rocket on the launch pad at Vostokny. And look at that detail from a satellite. Yum. Yeah, so I thought I would just share that with you guys, and I will keep it as updated as possible. But again, lots of work, lots and lots of work. But it's fun. I want to keep it, open. You can't see anything I'm showing. Oh boy, sorry, that's embarrassing. Oh geez, there we go. Thank you so much. I feel so stupid. I've done that before. I should know this mistake. Now I'm all embarrassed. Okay. I'm so sorry. The past 5 minutes, pretend that never happened. Let's try this again. So basically, yes, this is the declassified gallery on my website. And what was the first image I showed you? So you choose an image and you come down here and you have these interactive high resolution images that you can go through. This is the airbase in Kazakhstan that I was talking about, which you couldn't see. There's all these aircraft here, some helicopters and whatnot. And yeah, you can go through, you can toggle the transparency to see the current Google imagery. And Yeah, this is all for free. Like, I'm not going to charge anyone for this because that would be silly. This is all public imagery anyway. Um, and so yeah, there's about 275 or something like that. You can sort by the different satellite variants. You can search. You can be like, I don't know, what do you want to see? You want to see Cape Canaveral? Boom, you got all the images of Cape Canaveral. Um, and what else did I talk about? These are the current day images. So actually, this is quite out of date. I haven't added an image in over a month. Whoops. I should add some more images. But again, you can come into here. Here's the image I was talking about of the Polaris rocket on the launch pad. You can see Dragon on top of Falcon 9, Transporter Erector, all that kind of stuff. And you can compare it. Actually, would you look at that? Google has updated their imagery to be the same image. But I have to say, mine looks a bit nicer, I think. I'm gonna say that my image looks nicer than Google. How dare they? How dare they? Yeah, and you can look at these awesome Umbra synthetic aperture radar images if that's something you're interested in. By the way, lots of love to Umbra. They are amazing friends and partners. I love them so much. They are awesome. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a very cool archive. I also mentioned the Angara rocket at Vostokny. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Marina, please correct me. And yeah, again, you can zoom in and you can see the rocket on the launch pad. Actually, I haven't looked at Vostokny in a while. That's still old. So this imagery is newer than Google, which is another thing. So if you're interested in sharing these sites with someone, and Google imagery is way out of date like this, I hopefully have newer images that I spent way too much money on. But we're not going to think about that because it will make me sad and it will make me cry. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. We also have like some aerial images on here as well, some newer ones, some older ones. For example, geez, I don't touch this page very much, but since there's a Starship launch in the next few days, this is some aerial imagery of Boca Chica from 1946, and you can see there is nothing there. There's no village. There's just a road, nothing else there. And if we use the transparency and you look at the current Google images, boom, there's a launch site for the world's largest rocket. But back in the day, they would have had no clue. Vostochny, I think. I hope that's correct. That's one thing I've always tried to get the pronunciations of the names of these launch sites improved, especially the Chinese ones. Those are very hard, very, very hard to do. I have a friend who speaks some Chinese, and they're trying to coach me on how to pronounce the Chinese names, and I was like, man, I can't do this. I'm just some dumb Australian guy. I can't be doing this. 1948 for Burka, Jeff. If you want, I can drop that link into the chat as well. Boom, like that. And cool. Perfect 10 out of 10 for Vostochny. Or is it Vostoch? Okay. I'm overthinking it now. I said it perfectly. I'm not going to overthink it. Otherwise, I'm going to get it wrong again. But yeah, I want to add a lot more aerial imagery, but that just hasn't been high priority. But actually, this page needs some updates to it. But yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. You even got this like wacky infrared imagery and things like that. Oh, would you look at that? Task complete. Okay, we are going to jump back into here. Now we're on the right screen again. And for some reason, I cannot open that. Okay, it's sitting on 100%. Just give it a little bit of time. And we should have an image appear on the screen on the left. Hopefully, if it works. I had a process fail the other day where the image was georeferencing. I should have taken a screenshot because it's quite funny. But instead of the image being overlaid where it was meant to be correctly, it was just like spread out everywhere. There was just like, I don't know, it corrupted and it was just a mess. But it was quite funny. Vostok means east, and Vostochny means eastern. Okay. Learning Russian. How about that? That's pretty cool. Oh, here we go. Here's the moment of truth. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this is going to be slow to load because it is it's a much bigger file than I thought. This is almost 12 gigabytes of imagery. And yeah, even though it's on an SSD, it's very slow to load. But this is progress. This is good progress. And so what we will do is, I'm just going to pull up something here. And unfortunately, I cannot show you this because one of the annoying things about this software is it displays your license key on the software, and it's probably not a good idea for me to display my license key on a stream. So I'm just going to do this off screen where you guys can't see it. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just going to compress this image so it can load faster for us. Because I don't want to be sat here for 5 minutes waiting for it to load every time. So that'll probably take 5 minutes to do it once. Anyway, yes. Oh, Andrew, you saw. I almost pronounced it wrong on purpose because Mojave is the correct way to say it, I believe. I always go to say Mojave because it annoys some people when you call it Mojave because obviously it's the wrong way to say it. And I got into a habit of saying Mojave just to annoy people. But I didn't want to say it here, and you're like, what is wrong with this guy? He can't even say it properly. CJ, as far as I know, it is raw data. So it's basically the original film that came from the satellites. They scan it and upload the files from the scanner. That's it. And so part of what I'm doing is adding that projection information. I'm not super technical when it comes to projection information and things like that. But yes, I am putting it into Makeda. Actually, let me double check that. Yes, I am. I'm putting it into, if you want information, I'm putting it into EPSG 3857, WGS 84. Some people tell me that's not the correct one to use, but that's the one I've had the most success with, and it looks fine when I upload it. So I don't want to change it. Otherwise, I feel like I'm going to break something. So I hope that helps. We're getting into pronunciation. We talk about the word. So, and I believe it's pronounced datum, right? So technically it's data, but then there are certain places in the world where they say data. I don't know which one I say. I hear Australians say both. This is so I just see whichever one comes out of my mouth at that time. It's like with many things, actually. Some people maybe this is a thing in most countries, but some people here, they will pronounce things different ways, and they'll like tell you, no, you're pronouncing it wrong. I'm like, okay. And then I just get confused. I'm like, I don't know which one is the correct one anymore. So it's just whatever word comes out of my mouth at that time. But maybe now I'll just start saying data because of that reason. Another one is buoy, right? As the Americans say, and maybe other people. But it should be boy because buoyancy. You don't say buoyancy. Unless people do say buoyancy. If people say buoyancy, then I'm worried. But that's one of my like pet peeves on pronunciation. It's when people say buoy. I'm like, it's buoyancy. I'm pretty sure. Like, as far as my education goes, it was buoyancy. So, yeah. Isn't the English language fantastic? Isn't it just wonderful? Um, so many things that just don't make sense. Or maybe they do, and we've just made it far too complicated. Um, okay, so we are still compressing over here. That's at 25%. So give me a few more minutes, and then we should be in business. But what we can do is... Okay, so this... Let me make sure I'm showing the correct screen. Cool, I am. So this screen on the left... as I turn on and off this georeferenced layer, you can see that it's pretty much in the correct location. If we zoomed in, I can guarantee it's probably like 1 or 2 meters off of the correct location, unless we got very, very lucky. And I mean very lucky, because I purposely did a projection which was quick, but slightly less accurate. And that's because I just wanted to check that everything was okay. And that's my normal process. But sometimes it can turn out to be accurate, like very accurate. And I believe that just comes down to luck. There's probably a more technical reason behind it, but I choose to believe it's luck. Did they provide? No. So there is, as far as I know, CJ, there is no information about scan or track data. I gotta say data. There is nothing like that. As far as I know, probably the only way you could do that is... I don't know if we even have like the orbit information of these satellites. That's probably a question for Jonathan McDowell, but I guess if you have like the launch time and date and you look at these images, and you can probably tell what it's doing. I don't know. That's way too complicated for me, to be honest. That's way out of my pay grade. But yeah, if that information is out there, I'm sure you could do some stuff to make the georeferencing much easier. I have had some people ask me before, like if there was any sort of projection related things, and I looked into it. I couldn't find anything, but it could be just buried somewhere. Yeah, exactly, Scott. You could probably... I don't know if the image is taken at like a high angle. I don't know if that would affect it at all. Maybe you would have to look at several images taken on like the same day or something like that. But I'm sure someone who is good with math could do it. I am not that person, but I'm sure someone could do it. And if anyone can do that, and they need any of the images that I have used, that I have processed, I would be more than happy to provide them. And yeah, like the information that we do have, there is some information based on the location of where these images should be. Is there a way that I can show you this? Just thinking. Yes, actually there is. Bear with me a second. So see if I can try to show you this. Oh boy, okay, I gotta log out here. I do have dates. I have... Actually, let's see. This might be able to help you. If this tool shows the stuff that I remember it showing, this might help. It does not. Okay, that's unfortunate. So, what we would have to do is... Okay. Sorry, just again, bear with me as I try to figure this out. Actually, I can't show you this screen because it doesn't have any information on it. Boom. Okay, so this is the USGS page, and this is where you get all the images from. And so what you can do is... How do I do this? So you can show these footprints, and the footprints of these images... Here we go. We want not just the current page. Fine, that's good enough. So they have these footprints of where the images roughly sit, And I believe these were taken from like star trackers and whatnot on the satellites, if I'm remembering correctly. And then the smart people back in the day, they used mathematics to figure out roughly where these images were sat, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I forgot the original point that we were going for now. But yes, we have dates that all these images were taken. The only thing we don't have is time. But again, if you have the date and you have like you can look at shadows and whatnot from buildings, um, I imagine you could figure out the time that these images were taken at using once again mathematics. Holy cow, Mariner 10, look at all this information. um, And thank you for posting the link into NSF. That's absolutely awesome. I appreciate that. It's good to have a nice active chat here today. That's really, really cool. Um, and then so one thing that you can do, I'm just going to switch back to another scene here for a second, just so I don't accidentally dox myself, which I have done before, and we're not going to talk about that. That was a rookie mistake. First stream, accidentally doxed myself. And it's like, damn it. Luckily, I edited that out, so don't go and try anything. Waiting for Google to load. What's the processing like on my image over here? 64%. Cool. All right, we're gonna turn that off. Uh-oh. Oh, we're back. Are we back? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are we back? I think my OBS just pooped its pants. Can anyone confirm this for me in the chat? Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh boy. Okay. I think we're back. Oh good. Cool. I don't know if you guys lost me at all, but on my end, OBS just started yelling at me. We're back up. Okay, cool. Thank you. Saw that notification come through and I just freaked out. Okay, I don't know where you lost me, but basically this is this is all of the available images that you can download that were taken by a KH-7 satellite. I've lost my role here. Yeah. So you could probably. What were we looking for again? My brain has completely toasted itself. We were talking about date and times. Yes. Okay. I mean, one interesting thing you can see here is that these images were taken at different angles, right? And so I'm assuming either different missions going in slightly different orbits, or these are ascending and descending nodes. I'm trying to visualize an orbit now, and my brain is not working. Again, this is way too much information for my poor little brain to handle. But if anyone wants this information who is interested in figuring out things, I can send through like these KML files that have all of these locations. Actually, you have strip images like this long one here. Maybe that would be really good for figuring out the satellite's orbit. I imagine it would be. That would be a huge file. That has to be like a 20 or 30 gigabyte file. That's massive. So it has these rough coordinates based on what I think is the Star Tracker information that they had. Oh no, the wiki link is too long for YouTube chat. Oh man, maybe you can put it on like Twitter or something, if that's a possibility for you. because that would be cool to see. We're all learning stuff. I like learning stuff, even if it makes my brain just break. That's the best way to learn. If it is only mods that can share links, maybe you can send it to me and I can post it. Yeah, you guys are figuring this out. You guys are proactive. I like this. I like you guys. You're good. You're a good chat. Yeah, cool. Oh, all right. What have we got? How's this compression going over here? We're almost there. It's at 97%. Cool. Thank you guys for being patient. That's absolutely awesome. We've been going for just over an hour. And nice. Once again, I'm getting red bars. What is going on? There shouldn't be anything using my connection. I hope. Okay. Just make sure no one has sent anything to me. Russian, yeah. Dissecting Russian Wikipedia. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. The goal is just to have a very chill stream. I don't want to be like, yelling into the microphone and having some sort of a crazy rave party thing, like I just wanted to make the stream something that I would enjoy to watch. Like if someone else is doing this is the kind of thing I would just like throw on in the background while I'm working, and pop into chat now and again, and yeah, just very very basic. And I think personally that's a good thing. So I'm glad other people appreciate it. I'm sure some people probably find it boring, but you can't please everyone, right? So yeah, it's nice to hear. Okay, image is done compressing. Now we can actually do something. So that compression took the image down from 12 gigabytes to 700 megabytes. That's pretty good. So, let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Yes, I am. Caspar, is that question to me or to someone else? Because I don't want to assume it's for me and then go and embarrass myself when you're talking to someone else. Okay, so here we go. This is I'll wait for a response. Now we can see where this image actually belongs. So it's like a few meters off from where it should be, actually, just for the fun of it. The opacity slider in Q just drives me nuts. So we can go into wait, where is it gone? I've lost it. Where is it gone? Okay, so how many meters is this off? 30 meters. Okay, that's quite a bit more than I thought it would be, but that's not bad. It's not bad. You found a video of the failure? Oh wow. Oh wow. I want to see that. As much as rocket failures are not good, they are quite fun to see. I will admit that. As long as no one's on board, just to be clear, no human lives at risk. Just to be extra clear on that. I don't want someone to go and misinterpret what I'm saying and go and yell abuse at me online. That doesn't sound very fun. But after all, it is the internet. So, once again, corners. And there's that fingerprint again. Every time I see a fingerprint on one of these scans, I just have to chuckle to myself. It's quite amusing. Although I wonder if the fingerprint is from the original piece of film or it's from a copy, because okay, so the pieces of film that were scanned for the National Archives, they are not the original pieces of film from the satellites. They are copies. I believe these are either second or third generation copies. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know the information is out there. Heck, I could probably find it pretty quickly. But that building's gone. Again, seeing these buildings just disappear makes me so sad. Yeah. Let's see. And again, in this corner, I can see this little guy down here. So I'm going to say that belongs... I lost it. That belongs in there. Something like... Oops, I forgot to press a button. There is a little pop-up window that you guys can't see. I couldn't figure out a way to get OBS to share it without like sharing my whole screen. And I don't want to be sharing my whole screen at all times, just for accidental privacy reasons. Again, I don't want to go and accidentally dox myself. But there's just a little pop-up that comes up saying like, hey, is this that what you want to do? And I'm just like, yes. That's pretty much it. So if you see me like clicking somewhere randomly, like right now, that's all it is. You're not missing anything exciting. Yeah. I like seeing you guys working on this this project. I feel like it's making me more productive. It's good. It's good. Cool. So one funny thing I will mention is, by the way, sorry for clearing my throat. I should probably mute myself for that. I hope that's not too loud. One interesting thing is I think on the last two streams that I did, they happened to be at the same time as two NRO launches, which were the SpaceX ones, which were probably Starshield, I imagine. And I just thought that was kind of ironic because we're working on declassified spy satellite imagery while there was a classified spy satellite launch going on. But I don't think there's one today. I think there's like a Starlink or something at some point, or something rather. But yeah, if there's ever a launch on during my streams, I will pull it up. We can just sit back and relax for a bit and watch it. Switch my brain off from doing this. Okay, that's it. That is there, like that. Cool. I don't know how crazy I'm gonna go with this. I should probably do some more in the city down here. All of that has also changed, unless I've got that wrong, but that looks right to me. Once again, intersections are your best friend when georeferencing most of the time. Sometimes they will change and you have to be careful of that, but looking at this is pretty much the same. When I was doing the image of Los Angeles, like yesterday and the day before, I was surprised at how much it actually changed. I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. But a lot of streets had changed, a lot of neighborhoods had changed. That is... Like, what? That has changed a lot. Okay, that building's there. Cool. These images are pretty scratched up. And I'm not sure if that's from the original film or if that's just from the copies or whatnot, but they look pretty beat up. All right. This is very chill and relaxed. Cool. All right, let's keep going. So we got over here, I'm going to put some over here along this road because roads is something we want to be accurate. I'm not going to worry about everything being 100% accurate because again, we will be here for far too long, and we'll probably all fall asleep. But as long as we get most of it, actually, there's a tracking station down here somewhere, isn't there? I want to make sure I get that correct. Where is it? Maybe it's further up. Where is it? I don't think that's it. Maybe it wasn't built at this time. I know there are also satellite calibration targets around here somewhere. Here they are. So they don't look like it much now, but these used to be satellite calibration targets. And so they would have like patterns on them. So the Soviet spy satellites could look down and calibrate their satellites, figure out the resolution, things like that. I'm sure I have images of like when they were like actually in a good condition, but I do not have those on hand right now. I would have to dig through my website, my archives, but somewhat relevant to what we're talking about, I guess. So I thought I would just bring that up while it crossed my mind. For now, it's only US satellite data. Sorry. Mostly because yes, they have the best like archives, I guess, that are accessible. I have no clue what the situation is with like all the old Russian and Soviet satellite images. I assume there's a either like locked down somewhere, hidden, whatever. I hope they don't get destroyed, or I hope they're somewhat preserved. So maybe one day someone can go and save them. Even though I've heard that the Soviet spy satellites were nowhere near as good as the US ones, I would still love to see them. And what else? Like, speaking of historical stuff, yeah, I don't think anyone else really has too much. Like, Europe has a lot of aerial imagery, especially from. If you go onto Google Earth on the web, you can go back and look at old historical imagery from like World War One and Two of Europe. So places like Berlin and London, France, places like that, which is really, really cool. But honestly, other than that, yeah, I think like the US stuff is just the easiest to get. I have not dug into trying to find anything else. One, just because there is so much US stuff that it just keeps me happy, it keeps me busy. It keeps my hard drives full, it keeps me buying new hard drives. But at some point it would be cool to dig in and see what we can find. Even like I know there's a lot of Soviet maps out there, I believe. So it'd be cool just to dig through like Soviet maps. I know there are some people out there who already do that, so I don't want to step on their toes. But maybe I could like link to their stuff on my website or something, because that'd be quite cool. Mariner, don't go and get yourself in trouble, okay? Please. I know you're joking, but please don't go and get yourself into trouble. It would be very cool, but I'm not gonna put you at risk for that. That is a wacky looking thing. I'm gonna leave that. We'll come up to this one. I don't see too much over here that we can. Okay, this guy. I've already lost it. Okay, on that side is that one. Yeah, it's something that makes me wonder. Like, I wonder just how many cool old Soviet images, like not even spy satellite images, but just images in general, are just hidden away in some archives, in some vault somewhere that haven't seen the light of day in decades. I mean, it's even the same with some of these images that we're looking at now. When I go and order some of these to get scanned, it just makes me think like, how long has it been since someone has actually looked at these images. Like it could be 50 or more years since someone had a close-up look at these images. And that's something that makes me sad. So that's one of the reasons why I do this, because I feel like these images deserve to be seen and appreciated. Yeah, you know what? Since I have Google Earth open, I may as well just show you what I'm thinking. Um, because I know a lot of European places do have like pretty good uh, like open data um, sources and whatnot. But I guess it also comes down to whether it's like in an accessible format. Here we go. So if I pull this up, if I show you the right screen this time, just like that, let's get rid of that. So this is like Southeast UK. Heck, I don't know where anything is on this, but this is from 1940 apparently. Um, and these are all wartime images, for lack of a better term. Um, and you can go through and have a look at these. You can skip forward to the 60s, which I don't know what this is going to show, but let's see what it loads. There we go. So now you can see the 60s. What is this? Is that like a prison or something? That's a pretty cool looking place. And then you can go look at today. Yeah, that looks like a prison to me. Oh boy, that is scary looking. So yeah, you can do that. What else is there? Like that was, I if I remember correctly, that was a pretty big project that where are we? Come on. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this. But yeah, you can head to Google Earth and check out a whole bunch of old imagery over Europe and whatnot from like the 40s. I think that might be some from even like the 20s or something like that. Some really really early stuff. Even in the US as well. I think there's some. Um, but yeah, if that's something you're interested in, please go and check it out. It's all free, and I feel like it's something most people don't know. Like they would just go on Google Earth and look at today's imagery, but you can scroll back and go explore from like nearly 100 years ago, which is insane to think about. Um, oh, you live in Canada. Okay. So you're probably good. You're probably good. That's good to know. But still, maybe still no leaking. Just I'm not going to encourage any troublesome behaviors. I don't want to get held accountable for anything. Um, yes, yes, Andrew. No China for me. I don't think China likes me spying on their space program. Whoops. But I'm sure that goes for many of us. USGS also has lots of old aerial imagery, which is where I got. Um, oh heck, I'm gonna plug my website again just to show you something cool because why not? Uh, let's see if we can find one of my favorite images. Here we go. And I show you the right screen again. So this is Cape Canaveral from 1950. And you can come into here and you can see there are no launch pads. And then you can look at today's current Google imagery and be like, holy crap. Like, oh, there was nothing out here apart from, I think this may be like, these clearings may be related to the very, very early days of them using the Cape. That's another thing I wanted to look into, but I just haven't had time. And now you can see, oh, look, there's a empty Blue Origin pad, and things like that. Actually, this kind of looks, there's a circle here. Maybe that was a launch site. I'm not too sure. Have to speak to a historian, but yeah, you can see where there are all farms out at Cape Canaveral and whatnot. They had, I believe these are like orange groves or something like that. Um, There is a great story about that, but I don't know if now is the right time to dig into it. But there is a historic image where there is one of the old people. Jeez, what am I saying? Someone who used to live on Merritt Island, where is now like the like Roberts Road and whatnot. Um, and they had their house transported off the land. And there's a great image showing this house on the back of a trailer being towed by like this truck thing. And there's this house just being driven by the VAB. It's an amazing photo, and the house still exists like 20 kilometers away or something. It's very very cool piece of history. Um, but yeah, that's just something random that popped into my head. But yeah, there's loads of stuff out there. It's just a major task of making it into an accessible format for everyone. Because once again, not everyone wants to go and find the exact images or download and unzip and open TIFFs. We got to make it accessible for everyone, but that's it's a mother of all tasks right there. Um, I believe there's also imagery that was taken by like balloons and all this kind of stuff back back in the day. But yeah, there's so much cool imagery out there. So I will probably be busy for the rest of my life. Yeah, Andrew, I think we talked about that a little bit before you got here. Getting like the KH-11 and the KH-8 images declassified, that'd be a big day, but I got a feeling might be a few decades until that happens. Um, but that would be really fun. I know there are some images out there, but like there was that one that was leaked um, back in the 80s. It would have been. It was of the I think it's like the Soviet aircraft carrier under construction, and I think someone went to jail for life over that, which I guess that's what you get. But yeah, so kids, don't go leaking classified documents. It's probably not a good idea. Images from I hold on, let me pull up Google. I need to refresh my brain here. Um, okay, these ones. Scott, I don't know. I have no clue. Um, hmm, wonder. Declassified images probably would be better. Um, I see a CIA report on it. But that's just an imagery report. I guess that's talking about places that they flew over, which is pretty cool. But I have a few people I might be able to get information on that about. That's yeah. I don't know what those cameras are like, but I'm gonna have to dig into this, and I will ask around and see if anyone knows anything. But I have not seen anything personally. Oh wow, on Luna 3. Wow. I'm seeing images from U2s, and huh, I completely forgot that existed for a while, but that's very cool. That's a rabbit hole I'm going to dive into later. I don't want to get too sidetracked just yet, but that is very very cool. Um, yeah, the fact that the Soviets, I guess the balloon fell down in Soviet territory, and they're like, "This is ours now." and they decided that the film was good enough to use. Um, Known for making cereal. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. It's why why would they pick someone who makes cereal to make these balloons? I don't have any obvious like correlations, straight from the top of my head because, huh? That's yeah. They cut it to size for cameras on the Luna 3. That's amazing. That's such a Soviet thing to do, and that makes me happy. Um, just because it's a very like I don't know. It's kind of like going up into space and just cutting out like a KH-12 sensor or something, being like, "This is good. We're gonna steal it and use it from now on," or something. Maybe not that. Maybe that's not like the best analogy, but um, I find that quite amusing. Okay, I think we're pretty much good on this. I should probably. That is not very sharp. Something tells me this image was not taken 100% correctly here. But I want to make sure that we get that in the right location. Um, I think we're pretty much good to go at this point. We'll do the one last I don't know what like the final georeferencing process, which will probably take a little while, so we have to find something to distract ourselves for a bit. But had exit. Oh, okay. They made weather balloons in World War II. That's really cool. So that's a story I did not know. Another thing, I hope everyone has learned from that. That's always funny when you hear things like that. Again, probably not the best example, but it's kind of like when you hear about all the things that a company like Samsung makes. Everyone thinks of Samsung for making like phones and TVs and microwaves or whatever, but don't they also make like tanks and like insane industrial and like just crazy stuff you wouldn't really think that Samsung would make. I think there's a few of those companies out there where we know them for like one thing, but then they just also go and build these crazy things. Um, it's just funny how that works. I mean, even just Kodak, right? Imagine you're just Kodak and you make film for people's cameras, and then all of a sudden the U.S. government comes along and is like, "Hey, can you make this film for our spy satellites?" It's like, okay, sure. um, yeah, that would have been a hell of a contract to have back in the day. I'm sure they were very happy with that deal. They probably kept them very well funded. All right, I'm happy with this. So I'm going to go through. We're going to do one final process of this. This is going to take a little while, but we will keep busy. It seems like we have some good topics going on here. So we're at 1%. And so once again, this is just a more accurate, I don't know if algorithm is the right word, probably like a script that is transforming the image to sit on the map. It's just going to, again, be a more accurate version of what we did before. The other one was just to get a rough location and just make sure everything was in the right spot. And then it guided us into, getting the image into the right location. That's probably the best way I can think to explain it. And so that's another large file that my poor computer has to write. Yeah. How's the stream going? Is everything still smooth? Everything still happy? I hope so. OBS is yelling at me for some dropped frames, and what is taking my internet? By the way, so the best internet connection I have out here is is Starlink, because there is no fiber where I live. There is not even like a point to point kind of thing. Is that what they call it? There's like nothing. The only other options I have is like DSL, which is like 2 megabits per second or 2 megabytes per second, whatever it is, and then like geostationary satellite. We said satellite imagery, satellite internet. And I was on that for a while, but it was very, very slow. And so the best thing I have is Starlink, and the upload speeds are not great, which is not the best for streaming. But it seems to be okay. It's just having a few moments here and there, apparently. But cool. It's pretty smooth, but sometimes stuttery. Yeah. Okay. Wow. They have a Wow, I did not know that. See, I love all these crossovers. It's like, yeah, Samsung has a subsidiary that built world's tallest building, and AMF used to make things like nuclear reactors, and now they're making stuff in bowling alleys. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. That's really cool. TI, what's the story behind TI? What is TI? Top of my head, I can't think of a TI. Okay, just want to make sure some other things are good. Okay, OBS is happy now. That's good. That's good. That's good. Texas Instruments. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Now that's a familiar name. Yes, that's right. Okay. Calculator, yes. That's where I know them from. Laser guidance for precision guided munitions. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, from calculators to laser guided munitions that's a pretty big jump. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how those conversations go. Like, if that's like an internal thing of like, how can we expand, or if they're just approached by someone like, hey, can you do this? Mm-hmm. Semiconductors. Yeah. Again, I don't know too much about them, but I know they're very important. um, cool, 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 cool. Once again, this is a sitting and waiting game. Um, what else can we like? Is there anything else? Anything interesting I can show you guys? Um, you know what? There is some very cool stuff I can show you guys. Let's have a look. Where are we? Huh, it's not what I was looking for. Here we go. It's more like it. So I mentioned this earlier, but I figured I would show you guys. And let's load this up onto here. Boom. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that I worked on some images of the Falkland Islands, and these images were taken right near the end of the Falklands War back in 1982. This was taken on June 13, and I think the war ended like, was it the day before or like a few days after? I can't remember off the top of my head. But I worked with Dwayne Day on these images, and he wrote a great article on it. And we were able to uncover this image that shows these Royal Navy ships, like after they had been struck by oh geez, my knowledge of this event isn't great, but they had been struck, and you can see the ship smoking and burning. And I believe later on towed the ships. I don't know if it was both of them or just the one that was smoking here, but they towed them out into the ocean and sunk them. So that's a pretty big historical event, shown in these images. And you can also go up to Port Stanley and see where the airport was kind of bombed. You can see the craters from where the bombs hit, but they kind of missed the runway. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. Like, that one got pretty close in there. But yeah, I thought I would just share that because it's pretty cool. And it was great to work on this story. Mostly just the images on my side, because I don't have all the knowledge about the war itself. But if you are interested in checking out Dwayne's article, it's a great read. I learned a lot. Apparently, a lot of it has not stuck in my brain as well as I thought, but I am just going to say I'm very tired. But if you want to check that out, I will just drop that into chat in case anyone wants to have a look. Make sure I spelled that right. Oh boy, what have I done? Cool. Like that. I pasted it twice? Yeah. There you go, just in case anyone is interested in that. But yeah, I thought I would just share that because that was a very cool thing to work on. And you guys have been chatting while I've been chatting. Let's see. That's cool. It's integrated circuits already. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. There is so much, like, I want to go head first into these topics that you guys are talking about, but I just don't have time. I need more time. I need to sleep less and just do more. Yeah, of course, the Casper. I'm glad you think it's interesting. And yeah, Dwayne did great work researching this and putting everything together. So I feel like he should get, most of the credit. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, I've worked with him on some other cool articles as well. Like, for a while, we were digging up all these declassified spy satellite images showing aircraft carriers. So we were looking at cool images of carriers in different places in the world, mostly in the US because they were the easiest ones to find. But we also found some images in like near where Ukraine is now, and like Hong Kong. Where else did we find some? There's some other places, I think maybe like Japan and somewhere else. But yeah, we dug into that, which is really cool, as well as looking at some ships that were constructed for the Soviet Navy. Again, like in St. Petersburg and stuff, there was a pretty big shipyard there that the US spy satellites monitored a lot. So we looked into that, which was quite fascinating. So yeah, it's cool what you can uncover with these old images, and it's great to have people to work with who have this knowledge and this interest in using these images, because most of the time I'm just like working on the images themselves and not so much the stories that they can uncover. So it's great to have people who are willing to put the time into make these cool cool stories and put all this information together. So, and it's even better when people appreciate it because it's a lot of work. Sleep is good. I enjoy a good bit of sleep. I'm feeling a little bit short on sleep at the moment, but that's fine. Nothing a little bit of a tea can't fix. So I might take like a 5-minute break here soon just to get up, stretch my legs, grab a little bit of food, but not just yet, but just giving you guys a warning. I may disappear for 5 minutes in a bit, because I mean, all we're gonna do is sit here and look at this image. It's 10% through. Maybe we need to start on another one, because why not? While that's churning, we look through something else. Um, let's see what I've got. Let's go dig through my archives. I meant to delete that one because that one was not in focus and I don't want to deal with that. By the way, if anyone has any location requests for images, please feel free to let me know. And that's something I can do for like the next stream. I probably cannot download the files in time for this one. But for the next one, it's something I'm willing to look into. As long as the images exist, because sometimes either there's no images available, or they need to be scanned, which costs money, or there are clouds. the big enemy of satellite imagery, well, optical satellite imagery, is clouds. Yeah, but where's my folder of images I have been digging through? Right, Mitsubishi. That's another one. It's funny because yeah, as a kid, you always hear about like a Mitsubishi car or a printer or something. And then when I started getting into space, it's like, wait, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries making rockets? I was like, what? What is going on? Yeah, and it's really cool how these companies can be so diverse. I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's definitely very interesting, at the least. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Hmm. I have a cool image. I think I know what we can do. This might be one for Mariner to correct my pronunciation on, because I feel like I'm going to screw up the pronunciation of this place. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. But okay, yeah. Okay, sir. I have an image lined up. We will get to that when I come back. I'm just going to take a 5-minute break. Go have a stretch. Go refill my drink. Get some food. All that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I'm probably going to shrivel up at my desk and turn into some ugly creature. So I will leave you with some cool satellite images pulled from my website. And if you're familiar with any of the locations that you see in the images, please feel free to like put them in chat. I always enjoy seeing people like guess, especially if it's a correct guess. And you can have like imaginary points or something. Maybe one day we could like have a competition and someone gets like I don't know, something, a prize. I don't want to start like shipping people stuff, but thanks for stopping by, the Casper. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was good to have you here and good to chat. You have a good sleep, and yeah, I hope to see you on the next one. I usually stream around this time, so I know it's quite late for you, but yeah, thanks for stopping by, and have a good one. And everyone else, I'm gonna disappear for 5 minutes or so, and yeah, I will be back. So enjoy. Okay, we are back. I hope I didn't jump scare anyone. I'm sorry. I know that's happened to me a few times where I've been watching a stream and someone will like disappear for a few minutes and then all of a sudden there's just a voice that booms out of nowhere. Terrifying. But I figured we would come back and start on another project. I don't know if we will finish the other project, but I would just want to keep going until this image of Baikonur is fully done. And we're about like 20% of the way through, 18%. So it might take like another like 30 minutes or so. So yeah, I figured we would start on another one. And I'm terrified to get the pronunciation of this place wrong, but it's an image of Chernobyl, and it's from 1982. I've done a few images of there before, but this one really caught my eye. It's very pretty. And sometimes that's the most important thing, right? So I'm just going to prepare a few things off screen, and then we can just dive in. Yeah. Yes. I hope everyone is good. I hope I didn't bore anyone when I left. All right, let's see. Let's get that loaded in here. Cool. I hope this is going to work. I didn't look into this properly, but it might be tricky, but we're going to try it. We're going to try it. Okay. So I'm going to have to switch this up. Switch this. Cool. So we'll leave that one doing its thing, and oh boy, do I want that? No, I don't want that one. I want that one. Nope. I want. Bear with me. Bear with me. Why can I not find? Uh-oh. OBS is not showing me the window I want. There we go. There it is. Okay, cool. We're good. We are good. And now I just need to pull up the other window, which I'm not seeing. Again, that one. Nope. Oh boy. There we go. We got it. Okay. So yeah, I've got this cool image of Chernobyl from 1982. And I figured, why not start processing that? Why don't we just, get that in? Because the images I have of it right now, let's go have a look just to see. Hopefully this is a different year, just so we have some diversity. Yes, I have 1984 and 1974 done. So at least this one should be fairly different. So yeah, I'm excited to dig in. Once again, if anyone has any questions, random topics, I'm more than happy to chat while doing this. But other than that, we can dig in. Unfortunately, this image is a little bit blown out. And I remember when I was looking at it a while back, I couldn't really save it. So unfortunately, it's just quite bright. And I think that might just be the way that it was captured, which is unfortunate, but that's just how it is sometimes with these images. If the exposure and all that was not set 100% correctly, there's only so much you can do, I guess. So yeah, I hope everyone is having a good Monday or Tuesday, depending on where you are. Yes. Okay. See, that's all gone. This is the tricky part when things change. And I know I kind of mentioned this before when we were at Baikonur, but yeah, when things change, it gets quite tricky. But corners of buildings are always great, as long as you do the corner that is touching the ground and not in the sky. Because of, oh man, hold on, bear with me for a second. bear with me. The good old camera has decided to reset itself, which is fun. So I'm just going to do this while I'm here with you guys. And it's being very picky. That's fun. I need to get a certain adapter for this camera just to make it more happy, but I should reappear right now. Okay. There we go. Cool. We good. Once again, these streams are held together with duct tape and cardboard. There's not much to them. All right. So, actually, since I wanted to ask, where is everyone from? Let's do a mini version of the whole breaking chat with everyone says where they're watching from. I'm very curious how diverse this audience is. I assume it's probably not too many Europeans considering the time. But I'm very curious. I think I know where some of you are from, but you never know. Could be traveling, could be on a grand adventure. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. I'm just doubting myself. Okay. That's pretty good. It's not 100%, but it's pretty good. Cool. So we got, I think this image is beautiful with these like waterways, or I don't know what the correct name is for this, to be honest, but it's very pretty image. What do we got? That guy looks like it belongs there, like that. Virginia, nice. So it's probably what, like 8:30, I think it is Eastern right now. I think. If my time zone conversion is correct. For me right now it is 11:34 a.m. That makes me realize how long I've been chatting with you guys for, which is awesome. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 hours, but I guess that's a good thing. It means we're having fun. I hope. I surely hope. I've lost myself here. Where are we? Okay, yeah, I went way too far south. So that comes into the... Again, this is all just looking at lines and seeing where lines go. And then just trying to find, like, usually like towns are a pretty good thing to find. I think that town is gone. I mean, that makes sense, but that's unfortunate because that would have made it a lot easier to find somewhere that we can reference. And I want to be relatively close to this corner. Cool. I did the time conversion, right? Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna use this intersection here, which is this intersection down here. Once it loads. There's power poles still there. How many lines? These images have not been registered yet, no. And so, yeah, these are just, the one on the right is the raw file that I think, so, okay, so one thing I should explain, I should take a step back here. So when you order or when you download an image from the USGS, they usually come in multiple segments because the file itself is so large. So instead of it just being a single like 10 gigabyte file, they usually cut the images up into sizes that are around like 1 gigabyte, somewhere around there. And so you have multiple segments of these images, and you need to like stitch them together. And so I guess it's technically still the raw data, but I've just stitched them together. But I think I was just about to be very overly pedantic about that. But yes, this is the raw data. This has not been processed in any software other than PTGUI or PTGUI, depending on who you ask, which is the software I use to stitch together these images. It's meant for like panorama stuff from people with their cameras taking high resolution panoramas of like landscapes and such, but it works pretty well for stitching together spy satellite images. So yeah, it gets the job done for me. We got a nice little intersection here, which is cool. Sometimes I will also use Photoshop to stitch together the images. It just depends on which software gives me the best result, really. Sometimes Photoshop will not like an image. It just won't figure out how to put it together. And so then I run to PTGUI to get it done. But then sometimes PTGUI doesn't like it, and Photoshop will do it just fine. So yeah, I don't know. That's a random little software insight, I guess, is one way to put that. These little like canals or little rivers, also great reference points. Assuming they haven't changed too much, and considering that they don't look to be natural, I assume that they have not changed much over the years. So great reference points. And yeah, it's interesting how different locations require you to pick out different reference points. Like some of the images I did of the Chinese launch sites, which are in like the middle of a desert, like the best reference points you usually have are just like bushes, and you can see patterns of bushes, and you kind of just have to align those up. But then there's other places where you use buildings or you use rivers. Sometimes you can figure out like patterns in trees. You can see, okay, this is this tree, but in this image it's smaller, and then the newer image it's larger because obviously it's grown over time. So it's just one of those weird little things. I guess I kind of pick up on it over time, figuring out what is the best reference point to use, and it depends on each location. Each situation is different. Yeah, the original files are in TIFF format. Yep. Thankfully, I'm glad they're not like JPEG or something. That would be quite horrendous. And so that can help you save like any wacky like exposure and whatnot. If things are blown out, you can save some stuff, but other times it's just too far gone, which is unfortunate. That's all grown over, so that's going to be hard to find a point in there. What are these roads like? These roads are kind of here still, kind of. So we'll just drop a point. It's like somewhere in there. It's close enough. No one's going to get mad at me for being a little bit off. I hope. And we'll drop some in the middle here. Oh. Either we are way off or that does not exist anymore. I'm trying to find a pattern in here. Okay, so we got that. This is a good point. Up in here, I'm gonna say, okay, I see that guy in there. So yeah, the only downside to TIFF is that the files are massive. And in the end, I do compress them down and make them smaller to save storage space, but I still have far too many terabytes of folders and of hard drives dedicated to this. And I need to buy more. I need to buy some bigger hard drives, upgrade my storage situation, but it's just money. It's so expensive. It's so expensive. But it's all part of the fun. Yeah, I don't want to think about it, but I will have to do it at some point. Otherwise, I'm just going to run out. And I don't want to I don't want to go through purging stuff. I'm a little bit of a data hoarder. Okay. I like to hold on to everything just in case. Just in case. I don't want, like, if the USGS goes and has a massive server failure or something, which I doubt they will. I'm sure they have multiple backups. I hope. I just don't want to lose all of that information. These amazing images. All right. What have we got? Yeah, again, these are all blown out, which is unfortunate, but wait, is that gone? Or is that just in the wrong location? That town is gone. Oh. Once again, it makes sense, but it makes it a little bit tricky to get things done. Here we go. That little thing here is good. We got out here. This looks like another man-made thing out here, human-made, person-made. Let me just make sure that's not an urgent notification I just got. No, I think we are good. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything super urgent. This is again a really good point in here. These little river things. I assume this is agricultural related or something. Let's just check on that other image, by the way. How's that going? 30%. Oh boy. Yeah, it's gonna be a little while. But yeah, once that other image is done and we compress it, I will upload it, add it to the website, and then I'll probably call it a day because it's already been over 2 hours. And I try to max out my streams around 3 hours because I've got other things I need to do today, and I'm not used to talking this much as well. So it's quite tiring, but I'm having so much fun. This has been a really cool stream. It's been great chatting with everyone and lots of new faces as well, some familiar faces. Yeah, always a blast. And I'm going to try to do this more often. I feel like I say that every time, and then I end up disappearing for 2 months. The main reason that there was such a long gap between the last stream and this one is just because, well, one, I got very busy with some other projects and lost track of time. And then I also had a wisdom tooth out and I couldn't talk for over a week, which was not fun. But now we are back, we are healed, we have a little bit more free time. And today seems like a perfect day to do that. So, yeah. Hold on, I need to think about that one a bit more. We'll go into here, into this intersection in here. Yeah, CJ, I do try to do that. So I tried to do a few around the edges and then distribution around the middle. But it depends on the scene. Sometimes it's hard to find points around the edges, and so you kind of have to just do your best. I should probably put one around here. It also depends on the terrain. If it's a relatively flat image, you can get away with a few points. But it also depends on how large the image is. When the image covers a larger area, generally you want more. So let's say if you had an image that covered, I don't know, maybe 5 square kilometers, relatively small, you could probably get away with just doing 4 points, 1 to each corner. But the larger the image gets, there is a bit more distortion going on and whatnot, from my understanding. And so you kind of need a few more points to get it accurate. at least from my understanding, maybe there's a better way to do all of this. Like, I could be doing this in a very inefficient way, and one day someone's going to come along and say, like, Harry, what have you been doing this for? Like this is a terrible use of your time. And maybe that is the case, but um, yeah, this is the best way I found to do it. I used to be a lot slower at it. Are you seeing this? Is this just me? Sorry, I'm just very distracted right now. Let me just spin this image around and let it load. Um, it looked like there was some sort of a message written in the trees here. Let's see if we can get this to load. Is yeah, there's like 550 and is that an O and a R and a T? I mean, I know this is Cyrillic. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but um, yeah, it looks like there's a message carved into these trees, and I don't know if they're trying to send the Americans a message, but you can actually still see it here in the Google imagery as well. I wonder if there's a newer image or an older image that shows that message clearly, because I'd be very interested to know what that says. Used to do this with Taras and Gurs. That's awesome. So you used to go through and georeference those images. So I don't know what that process would be like. Was that would have been all digital, right? It would have had to have been if it was Gurs. Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing more about that process. Something October. Interesting. That's yes. We will have to come back to this and meteorology. Right. Okay. And yeah, that's something I hadn't thought about too much. And I imagine you could probably gather some like historical meteorological data from even these images. Um, maybe, possibly, maybe looking at clouds and other things like that in these old spy satellite images. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I'm not an expert in meteorological stuff, but I wouldn't be shocked if there is some sort of value somewhere in these images. Um, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen like a wide array of interesting use cases for these old images. There was a paper that came out not too long ago, and someone was looking at. They uncovered all these ancient forts in Western Asia, like all through yeah, I don't want to say exactly where because I only kind of skimmed through the article to be honest with you, but yeah, people going back and you could find signs of these old yeah these old places that no longer exist. They've been just hidden and destroyed over time, and it's fascinating what you can find in old images. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was some other crazy right time interest. Okay, okay, and okay. But yeah, also things like climate change, right? Like some people look at interest would be in the UK comparing weather ups. Okay, that's interesting because I know there are a lot of images of the UK. So maybe if that's something that's interesting to you, I could try to pull through like a few images and yeah, and share those because I think that would be pretty cool. This all changed a lot. I'm not going to rely on this because that stuff is all going to change. Sorry, I'm getting very distracted. And hmm, I need a point out here to look at. feel like that's a pretty good spot right there. But yeah, like talking of climate change, there are people who look at like oceans and lakes and see how the water levels have changed over time using these declassified spy satellite images and just the historical value. And that's part of the reason why they were declassified, I believe, is because a lot of researchers are like, hey, these hold a lot of historical value for our research. And so they basically worked pretty hard to get these images declassified, and there's a lot of cool use cases. A lot of okay, right? Because when excuse my lack of knowledge here on the subject, but as you build more urban areas, like the temperatures change in the areas because in those regions because of the way like the different materials and the buildings affect the temperatures. And that's a terrible explanation, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to I'm trying to say. I could probably learn a lot from you on this subject, and yeah, that is definitely something that is very interesting. What's that other image going, by the way? 35. It's going to take a lot longer than I thought. I don't want to end the stream before that image is done because I would like to conclude it with having a completed image. But heat island effect. Okay. I'm going to have to look into this. I feel like I've given myself lots of homework. Oh, look at this. This is a I forgot what this is called. This is like the big radio tower things. Once again, lacking the proper verbiage on that. But I know some people who are very, very interested in these. What do they call those? We're gonna Google this because I want to know now. It's the Duga radar. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Early warning radar for missile defense. Okay, here we go. Apparently, I will just share this Wikipedia article on my screen, just so we are looking at the same thing. So that is what we are looking at. And apparently it's an early warning radar network for missile defense. Wow, that's pretty cool. There's quite a few out there as well. That reminds me of all the come on, brain, switch on. What was it called? The like the radar stations and the early warning networks out in Kazakhstan as well. They had massive like structures out there for missile defense and things like that. Unfortunately, again, a lot of those have been destroyed. But I guess that's one of the values that these amazing images hold, is you can see what these places looked like before they were destroyed. Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. That's another image. I'm gonna have to look this up. Distant early warning line. Okay, cool. That's what that means. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd imagine that the U2 also had a part to do with that, checking out those systems and whatnot, which is very, very cool. I just want to place a few more around here. Like that's the intersection in there. Yeah, those early warning networks are massive. I don't know again like too much of the technical details about them, but the infrastructure was pretty incredible. Yeah. Oh, that's gone. That's going to be impossible. There used to be a bridge here, which is now gone, but I'm going to trust my gut and say that that will be good. You can see where that was like almost dredged out, I think. That's quite cool. And there's like, it looks like there's some tracks over here. Yeah, I'd love to get someone on to join me on one of these streams, and like someone with more technical knowledge about all of these images and the history behind them. I feel like that would be a great learning resource for myself as well as anyone watching. But actually, look at this. You can see some lines going along here. I'm going to assume those are power lines, which is quite cool. And I'm going to... That's not quite correct. I'm going to have to move that point. Yes. Yeah, it would be great to have someone on here and just have a good old chat. Learn some things while looking at these images. Yeah, I'll have to ask around and see if anyone is interested. Time zones might make it a little tricky, but I'm sure I could work something out. Even if it's not specific to the imagery, but just like a somewhat related topic would be very cool. Have a good conversation, and yeah. Because like I don't know if I've mentioned this on this stream, especially with some new viewers, but you know the main reason I do these streams isn't for me. Even though I'm the one talking, I do these for the images themselves because I feel like these images just deserve to be seen. Like they've just been so hidden away for so long, and they're not the easiest things to access in the world for the average person. And so just getting them out into the light where I believe they belong, that's the main goal of all of this. And that's why I don't want to hide anything behind a paywall. Like I've spoken to some people and they're like, oh, you could hide all of this behind a paywall and earn money. And I'm like, it just doesn't seem right to me. Especially when you can go to the USGS and get these images for free if you wanted to. So yeah, I don't know. That's just a little ramble on. It's all for the images. I'm just here to like try and speak for the images a little bit, and get the images some publicity. I don't know. It's probably a bad way to say it, but get them some recognition, and yeah, I hope more people can start to use these images and find interesting use cases. That's what makes me happy. Especially in today's satellite imagery climate, it can be very hard to get images these days. It felt like it was getting easier for a while, but to be honest, right now it feels like it's just getting harder and harder to buy satellite imagery, and it makes me sad. So coming here and working on these old images, it makes everything much easier. Yeah. I don't know, I probably won't go too much into the rabbit hole of that because otherwise I'll just get sad. No one wants that. All right, I think we'll place a few more points here, and then we'll get this one processing. The other one, a bike knot, is just churning away ever so slowly. If it takes too long, what I might just have to do is just end the stream and then put out a tweet or something when it's done, and share the link to the full res image so anyone who was here can go and check it out. because yeah, I don't want to leave you guys hanging. I want anyone who's been spending their time here to go and look at the image, um, however they want to. So I'm gonna go and send this one. We'll get it referencing. What's the other one at? 42%. Apparently OBS just lost connection. I don't know if we are back. If we are back, please let me know. Cool. I see a chat come through, so I think we're right. Have I attempted to register an image with Google Earth? See how the image overlay tool works? Yes. I have tried it, and it's really fiddly. I wonder if I can. Yeah, it's quite difficult to get it as accurate as you like. I'm quite a perfectionist, to be honest with you. And maybe for some people that's fine. Like go through and just get a rough alignment, a rough registration on the image, just so you can get like a quick visual representation of like, okay, I can see how this place has changed. But for me, I really like to be as accurate as possible, which is why I will spend many hours placing points. And sometimes I'll go over 200 control points for an image or something like that. And it's probably overkill for most people, but I don't know. I kind of want to do the images justice and have them overlaid as best as possible. Just so that way going forward, it's a good resource for people to have. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But again, it all comes down to use case. Like the average person, maybe they would just want to do a quick, spend 5 minutes doing the overlay tool in Google Earth, and just so they can see how a place has changed with, using the transparency slider on the image. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if someone wanted me to do that, I could quickly do that. And just be like, here you go. There's a quick one. But again, it all comes down to use case and preference, I think. You could probably do it for lower resolution imagery. Like, I was going to say maybe like the KH-5 argon imagery, which has a resolution of, I want to say like 200 meters per pixel or something like that. It's quite low resolution. And you could probably do something like that. Right, topological data. I'm still getting the pronunciations mixed up. Yeah. So when you say that, are you talking about like referencing the image over like a 3D image, like like if you had the terrain switched on Google Earth? Is that kind of what you're talking about, or am I misunderstanding? But yeah, I think this image is going to take way too long to process. I think we'll just hang out for a few more minutes, and then I might call an end to this, because otherwise we might be here for another 45 minutes or so. And yeah, 3D view not necessary. Just knowing elevations and slopes. Right. That makes sense. That's probably something I will have to try to make more use of, especially as I do work with images that are of more like mountainous areas or topologically diverse areas, I guess is one way to say that. Because that would allow the image to be more accurate. But then I do wonder if using like machine learning algorithms to georeference the imagery would be easier. I know some people who are working on that. There's some guys who work at a startup called Bunting Labs, and they have a plugin for QGIS, the software that I'm using here. And basically, they're experimenting with using machine learning to automatically register these images over Imagery. Um, and that's something that will help lots, um, especially for these large images. Um, but it's in the early stages, and I've had good chats with them, and they're really good people, so I'm rooting for them. And that's something that will help a lot. I hope that makes sense. So yeah. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see how this works going forward. And yeah, because it is a very time consuming process. So if like machine learning and algorithms and AI, whatever the technical term is for it, can help with this process, I would appreciate that a lot, because that might take me from doing, you know, 5 to 7 images a week to dozens of images a week. That would be really, really good. Yeah, and at that point, I think the biggest issue is probably just hard drive space. Because storing all of these large files is is not a small feat. Let's say that much. But yeah, I think I might call it here, guys. Everyone who is watching, I appreciate you being here. It's been wonderful to chat. I've had a great time. This has gone by really, really quickly. I can't believe it's been over 2.5 hours now. Yeah, so thank you for everyone who watched, who was chatting, asking questions. Anyone who shared this, like, I appreciate that as well. I know a few people mentioned they were sharing things around. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to keep up with the stuff I do, there are links in the description of the stream, so you can go in and check those out. Whether it's my website or Twitter, Blue Sky, Patreon, whatever it is, it's all optional. I'm not going to try to force anything on you guys, but yeah. And I will try to come back for another stream, maybe next week, depending on what's going on. Yeah, anyway, I will stop rambling. I will leave you guys to it. I will post an update on social media when this is done, when the image is done, when it's ready to be viewed for everyone. So yeah. But other than that, again, thank you all for hanging out. I've had a great time. I'm going to go and grab some lunch and get some things done with the rest of my day. So thank you all for hanging out again, and I will see you all next time.